Close your eyes right now. Just for 10 seconds. Feel what happens. The world disappears. Not literally, but something shifts. Your brain stops processing visual input. 30% of your brain's processing power was just freed up. In 10 seconds. Now imagine what happens in 10 minutes. What if I told you that closing your eyes for 10 minutes, twice per day, could change your focus, your memory, your emotional regulation, and even your perception of reality? And what if I told you that most people haven't done this in years? Not really. Not without a screen. Not without a distraction. Not without something demanding their attention. I tested this for 30 days. 2 sessions per day. 10 minutes each. Eyes closed. No music, no meditation app, no guided visualization. Just darkness. What happened to my focus by day 10 was noticeable. By day 20 it was undeniable. By day 30 I couldn't believe I had gone my whole life without this practice. But first, let me ask you something. When was the last time you closed your eyes without falling asleep or looking at a screen? When was the last time you sat in darkness, awake, alert, with nothing demanding your attention? If you're like most people, you can't remember. Because we've forgotten that closing your eyes is not just for sleeping. It's a tool. A tool your brain has been waiting for you to use. Here's what's actually happening inside your skull when you close your eyes. Your visual system is the most energy-demanding sensory system in your brain. It consumes approximately 30% of your brain's total processing power. That's more than hearing, touch, taste, and smell combined. Your brain is constantly analyzing color, contrast, movement, depth, edges, and patterns. Every waking moment, even when you're not paying attention, your visual system is working. When you close your eyes, you turn off this system. Not completely. Your brain still generates some visual activity, but you reduce the input by 99%. Suddenly, 30% of your brain's processing power is freed up, available for other tasks. A study from the University of California found that just 5 minutes of eyes closed rest improved working memory performance by 15%. Participants who closed their eyes performed significantly better on memory tests than those who kept their eyes open. The mechanism was simple. Less visual processing meant more resources for memory encoding. Now let me tell you about your brain's default mode network. This is the system that activates when you're not focused on external tasks, when you're daydreaming, reflecting, or letting your mind wander. The default mode network is responsible for self-referential thought, autobiographical memory, and future planning. It's the network that makes you you. Here's the key. Your default mode network is suppressed when your eyes are open. Your visual system demands attention. It keeps your brain in task-positive mode, focused on the external world. When you close your eyes, the suppression lifts. Your default mode network activates. You start to process your internal world. This is why closing your eyes feels different. Not just darker, deeper. You're not just blocking light. You're shifting your brain from external processing to internal processing. From the world to yourself. A study from the University of British Columbia used fMRI to scan participants' brains during eyes open and eyes closed rest. The eyes closed condition showed significantly increased activity in the default mode network. Participants weren't doing anything, just resting, but their brains were highly active, processing memories, integrating experiences, updating self-concept. Here's what happened during my 30-day experiment, day 1. I sat in a quiet room, closed my eyes, set a timer for 10 minutes. The first 2 minutes were fine. Then my brain started screaming. It wanted stimulation. It wanted to check my phone. It wanted to open my eyes. I had to physically resist the urge. By minute 5, I was uncomfortable. By minute 8, I felt almost nauseous. My brain was not used to this. It was withdrawal. Day 3 was better. The urge to open my eyes came later. The discomfort was less intense. I noticed something strange. My thoughts were slower, not fuzzy, slower, like someone had turned down the speed. I could observe my thoughts instead of being carried by them. Day 7 was when I first felt the shift. Around minute 6, something clicked. My mind went quiet, not empty, quiet. The constant chatter that normally fills my head, the to-do lists, the worries, the replays of past conversations, all of it settled. I wasn't trying to quiet it. It just quieted on its own. This is the default mode network doing its job. When you stop feeding it external input, it starts processing internal input. It organizes, it integrates, it settles. The chatter doesn't disappear, It resolves day 14. My focus at work had sharpened. I was completing tasks faster. Fewer distractions, less procrastination. My colleagues noticed. One asked if I had started a new medication. I said no. I told her about the eyes closed practice. She was skeptical, but she tried it. Day 21. Something unexpected happened. My memory improved. I wasn't forgetting names anymore. I wasn't walking into rooms and forgetting why. I was remembering things from years ago with unusual clarity. Not random memories, relevant ones. The ones my brain needed to process. Here's what the research says about memory and eyes closed rest. A study from the University of Edinburgh found that participants who rested with their eyes closed for 10 minutes after learning new information remembered significantly more than participants who kept their eyes open. The eyes closed group showed a 20% improvement in recall. The mechanism was memory consolidation. Your brain needs offline time to transfer information from short-term to long-term memory. When you close your eyes, you give your brain that offline time. Now let me tell you about the connection between closed eyes and emotional regulation. Your amygdala is the fear and threat detection center of your brain. It's constantly scanning your environment for danger. When your eyes are open, your amygdala is active. It's processing visual threats. When you close your eyes, your amygdala calms down, not completely, but significantly. A study from the University of Wisconsin found that participants who closed their eyes for 10 minutes showed a 25% reduction in amygdala activity. Participants reported feeling calmer, less anxious, and more emotionally stable. The effect lasted for over an hour after the eyes closed period. This is why closing your eyes feels calming. It's not just the darkness. It's your threat detection system taking a break. Here's what I noticed about my emotional state during the experiment. Before, I would get irritated easily. Small frustrations would ruin my mood. A rude email, a long line, a canceled plan. After 2 weeks of daily eyes closed practice, those same frustrations didn't affect me as much. I would notice them, acknowledge them, then let them go. My amygdala was less reactive. My prefrontal cortex was more in control. Now let me tell you about the connection between closed eyes and sensory processing. Your brain receives information from multiple senses: vision, hearing, touch, smell, taste. When your eyes are open, vision dominates. It suppresses the other senses. This is called visual dominance. Your brain prioritizes visual information because it's usually the most important for survival. When you close your eyes, visual dominance lifts. Your other senses become more acute. Your hearing sharpens. Your sense of touch intensifies. You notice temperature changes, air movement, the texture of your clothes. This is not imagination. It's sensory reweighting. Your brain is reallocating processing power from vision to other senses. A study from the University of Oxford found that participants who closed their eyes for 10 minutes showed a 30% improvement in auditory discrimination. They could hear softer sounds and distinguish between similar tones more accurately. Their sense of touch also improved. They could feel finer textures and detect smaller temperature changes. This is why food tastes better when you close your eyes. Why music sounds richer. Why touch feels more intimate. You're not imagining it. Your brain is literally processing more sensory information. Day 25. I started doing my eyes closed practice outside, in a park, under a tree. The experience was different. I could hear birds I hadn't noticed before, feel the breeze on my skin, smell the grass. My senses were heightened. The world felt more vivid, not because the world had changed, because my brain had changed. Now let me tell you about the connection between closed eyes and creativity. Your brain's creative insights often come when your default mode network is active, when your mind is wandering, when you're not focused on external tasks. This is why you get your best ideas in the shower, while driving, while falling asleep. Your eyes are closed or unfocused. Your default mode network is active. A study from the University of California found that participants who rested with their eyes closed for 10 minutes before a creative task generated 40% more novel ideas than participants who kept their eyes open. The mechanism was default mode network activation. The eyes closed group had already primed their brains for creative thinking. This is why I started doing my eyes closed practice before creative work. Writing, problem solving, planning. The ideas came more easily. The solutions were more elegant. My brain was already in the right mode. Here's what the research says about the minimum effective dose. 10 minutes is ideal, but even 5 minutes produces measurable benefits. A study from the University of Sussex found that 5 minutes of eyes closed rest reduced fatigue and improved cognitive performance in participants who were mentally exhausted. The effect lasted for over an hour, but here's the catch. The rest had to be with eyes closed, not eyes open, not looking at a screen, not reading, not watching. Closing your eyes was the key, because closing your eyes is the only way to reduce visual processing by 99%. Now let me tell you about the connection between closed eyes and sleep pressure. Your brain builds up sleep pressure throughout the day. A chemical called adenosine accumulates in your brain. The more adenosine, the sleepier you feel. When you close your eyes, even without sleeping, you reduce the accumulation of adenosine. You give your brain a break. A study from the University of Rochester found that participants who closed their eyes for 10 minutes every 2 hours reported significantly less fatigue and better cognitive performance than participants who kept their eyes open. The eyes closed group was essentially taking micro breaks for their brains. This is why closing your eyes during the workday is not lazy. It's strategic. You're not resting your body. You're resting your visual system. You're freeing up processing power. You're reducing adenosine accumulation. You're priming your default mode network. You're doing all of this in 10 minutes. Here's what I started doing. Every 2 hours, I would close my eyes for 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes. At my desk, in meetings, on calls, no one noticed. But my brain noticed. My focus stayed sharp all day. No afternoon crash. No 3 p.m. brain fog. Now let me tell you about the connection between closed eyes and visual imagery. When you close your eyes, your brain doesn't stop generating visual content. It shifts from processing external visual input to generating internal visual imagery. This is why you see patterns, colors, and shapes when your eyes are closed. Your brain is still active. Just in a different mode. This internal visual imagery is not random. It's your brain processing information, visualizing possibilities, running simulations, rehearsing scenarios. Athletes use this. They close their eyes and visualize their performance. The brain activation during visualization is similar to actual performance. Your brain doesn't fully distinguish between real and imagined. A study from the Cleveland Clinic found that participants who visualized themselves exercising for 10 minutes showed measurable increases in muscle strength. Not huge, but significant. The brain was sending signals to the muscles. The muscles were responding, even though the person wasn't moving. This is why closing your eyes and visualizing can change your reality. Your brain treats visualization as practice. It builds neural pathways. It strengthens connections. It prepares your body for action. Here's what I visualized during my eyes closed practice. Not always. Sometimes I just rested. But when I had a specific goal, I would visualize it. Completing a project, having a difficult conversation, giving a presentation. The visualization felt real, and when I actually did the thing, it felt familiar. My brain had already practiced. Now let me tell you about the connection between closed eyes and mindfulness. Mindfulness is often described as paying attention to the present moment without judgment. But most people struggle with mindfulness because their eyes are open. They're distracted by the visual world. They're pulled from one object to another. When you close your eyes, mindfulness becomes easier. There are fewer distractions. You can focus on your breath, your body, your thoughts. The visual world disappears. You're left with your internal experience. A study from Harvard University found that participants who practiced mindfulness with their eyes closed showed greater reductions in anxiety and greater improvements in emotional regulation than participants who practiced with their eyes open. The eyes closed group was able to go deeper, faster. This is why I recommend closing your eyes for mindfulness. Not because it's the only way, because it's the easiest way. Your brain has less to process, less to ignore, less to filter. Here's what the research says about long-term eyes closed practice. A study from the University of California followed participants who practiced eyes closed rest for 20 minutes daily for 8 weeks. Their default mode network connectivity improved. Their visual processing efficiency improved. Their cognitive flexibility improved. Their emotional regulation improved. All of it. From 20 minutes of eyes closed rest per day. The control group, who rested with their eyes open, showed no improvements. The difference was closing the eyes. Now let me tell you about the 5 most common mistakes people make when trying this practice. Mistake number 1. Trying too hard. Don't force your mind to be blank. Don't suppress thoughts. Let them come. Let them go. Your default mode network needs to process. Interfering with it defeats the purpose. Mistake number 2. Using guided meditations or music. Not during this practice. The point is to reduce external input. Guided meditations are external input. Music is external input. Just darkness. Just silence. Mistake number 3. Doing it when you're already exhausted. If you're sleep deprived, closing your eyes will make you fall asleep. That's fine. But it's not the practice. Do this when you're alert. When your brain has energy to process. Mistake number 4. Expecting immediate results. The first few days will be uncomfortable. Your brain is addicted to visual input. It will resist. Push through. By day 7 it gets easier. By day 14 you'll notice benefits. By day 30 you won't want to stop. Mistake number 5. Not doing it consistently. This is a practice, like exercise. You don't go to the gym once and expect to be fit. You need daily consistency. 10 minutes twice per day. That's the minimum effective dose. Here's what I want you to do right now. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Sit in a comfortable chair. Close your eyes. Don't meditate. Don't visualize. Don't try to clear your mind. Just close your eyes. Let your brain do what it needs to do. Notice what happens. The first few minutes, your brain will be noisy. It will want stimulation. It will feel uncomfortable. This is withdrawal. Push through. Around minute 5 or 6, something will shift. The noise will quiet. Your thoughts will slow. Your body will relax. Your brain will shift into internal processing mode. By minute 8 or 9, you might feel something unexpected. Clarity, calm, a sense of spaciousness. This is your default mode network doing its job. This is your visual system resting. This is your brain processing. When the timer goes off, open your eyes. Notice how you feel. Not during the practice, after. Is your mind quieter? Is your body more relaxed? Is the world slightly sharper? That's the effect, and it lasts for hours. Now imagine what 30 days of this could do. Let me quickly recap the 5 most important things you need to remember. Number 1. Your visual system consumes 30% of your brain's processing power. When you close your eyes, you free up that power for other tasks. Memory, focus, emotional regulation, creativity. Number 2. Closing your eyes activates your default mode network. This network processes memories, integrates experiences, and updates your sense of self. It's your brain's internal processing system. Number 3. 10 minutes of eyes closed rest improves memory by 20%, reduces amygdala reactivity by 25%, and boosts creativity by 40%. The research is clear. This works. Number 4. The first few days will be uncomfortable. Your brain is addicted to visual input. Push through. By day 7 it gets easier. By day 14 you'll notice benefits. By day 30 you won't want to stop. Number 5. Consistency matters more than duration. 10 minutes twice per day is better than an hour once per week. Make it a habit. Pair it with something you already do. Morning coffee, lunch break, before bed. If this video changed how you see the simple act of closing your eyes, hit like so. Winds of thought can bring you more science of the brain and body you inhabit. And comment below. Try closing your eyes for 10 minutes right now. Come back and tell me what you noticed. Your brain is waiting. Send this video to someone who needs to hear it. Your friend who's always distracted. Your colleague who's burned out. Your parent who can't focus. This 10-minute practice could change their life. Now close your eyes. 10 minutes. Your brain has been waiting for this. Start today.